Awesome. So I am Karen Taylor. I am the Director of Equity and Opportunity for the City of Hartford, and really excited to be able to interview Petrel Maylor as part of our Black History Month Leader Series. Petrel, thank you so much for being here.
Thank you so much for inviting me.
We could not do anything on Black leaders in the City of Hartford without inviting you. So first and foremost,
Oh, thank
um,
you. I appreciate that.
absolutely true. So, Petrel, can you tell us what's your hometown and where's your family from?
So my hometown is the city of Hartford, Connecticut, born and raised. My grandfather is from Burlington, North Carolina, and then he migrated to Hartford, Connecticut. Now, how he got from Burlington, North Carolina to Hartford, Connecticut, I have no idea. But we've been here ever since. Me, my mom, and my brother,
Wow,
our immediate family.
awesome. So, a lifelong resident who ultimately ended up working for the city. We love that here in Hartford. So, how long have you worked for the city and like what role did you initially come into and what did you attract? What attracted you to coming to the city of Hartford?
So I've been with the city now. 2 Thursdays ago, made 20 years that I've been with the city. I was asked to come to the city by former council president Arjo Winch. She actually was still in the service at the time in Texas, and she was soon to retire. And she saw me during one of her visits here, and she said, "Hey, I'm thinking about, coming back home after I retire. And if I run for council, would you be my executive assistant?" Now, at that time, I had no idea what it entailed because I came from the corporate world. I was working at Icon Office Solutions as a supervisor and customer service in Glastonbury, Connecticut. And when Arjo asked me, it probably was about maybe 3 years before she was even going to retire. So it was kind of far-fetched. And I said, okay, we'll cross that bridge when we get to it. So maybe about a year before she came home, she contacted me. She said, I'll be home soon. We need to get out in the streets, start doing some door knocking, start, doing some fundraisers and so forth. So it all began there. And then she won the election, and I've been here ever since. And I started out in the council office. So I was in the council office for 8 years. And then after I left council, I went to the finance department as their executive assistant. And I was in the finance office for about 6 months. And 6 months in, David Panagore, who was the chief operating officer for Mayor Segarra at the time, asked me how would I feel about going to DPW, because the director at that time needed an executive assistant that kind of knew the community, had a relationship with the community, and that director and myself at the time had a couple of conversations, and then I've been in DPW ever since. So I've been in DPW now. November made 13 years that I've been in DPW.
Wow. So happy work anniversary. 20 years is nothing to sneeze at. That is incredibly impressive. So you started with council as a council aide?
Yes, I was a council executive assistant. Yes.
Okay. So council EA, but you also supported with um Arjo's election, right?
Yes,
So you
absolutely.
helped with campaigning, you were a council aide, you worked in finance, and now can you tell us what your title is?
So my title now in DPW, I am the deputy director, and I've been the deputy director. I acted for about a year, and I've been in this role. Actually, this August will be 3 years that
Wow,
I've been the deputy director in this department.
that's wonderful. And we're very, very fortunate to have you in a leadership
Thank
role,
you.
particularly since you've been here for 13 years, right? To know, been in that particular department for 13 years. I
Mhm.
think that retention is so important to be able to have leaders who climb through the ranks is critically important. And for folks who are connected to neighborhoods to be in leadership roles in Hartford is really important. So thank you so much for being here and for your service to the city. Petrel, how do
Thank
you
you.
think that your work is making or contributing to Black history in the city of Hartford?
So I think my work contributes to the city of Hartford because I'm very passionate about the constituents and what their needs are and what I can do to help them. And I take pride in my work. And I guess a lot of it comes from being born and raised in the city of Hartford. And before I came to the city of Hartford, I used to always hear, nobody at the city does anything. Nobody works. Nobody answers their phone. So to me, that was kind of a challenge because I wanted to show people that people in the city of Hartford do work. They do answer their phone. They do take pride in their work and so forth. So I really give my all at this job.
And we absolutely can tell you definitely are very responsive and incredibly professional. We appreciate that so much about you.
Thank you.
So, what do you find to be most meaningful about the position that you're in and also about serving residents? We've heard a lot about like your career journey in terms of, you know, having somebody call you even 3 years in advance of wanting you to serve in the city of Hartford. So, like, what do you find most meaningful about serving the residents of Hartford?
So I look at all of the Black historians that paved the way for me. I look at individuals, may she rest in peace, Miss Ella Cromwell, Miss Trudy Miro, and so let me give you a little bit of background on Miss Trudy Miro. So I was born and raised in the city. However, I was bused out through Project Concern schools. I left the city of Hartford schools in the third grade. And from the third grade until I graduated, I was bused out through Project Concern. And Miss Trudy Miro um, is very instrumental in Project Concern. Now it's called Project Choice. However, she was the one that founded Project Concern at the time. And that's where, we took a bus from the city of Hartford and we actually, drove. I went to Farmington schools. My elementary school was Union, my middle school was Irvin A. Robbins, and I graduated from Farmington High School. And so it's people like her that paved the way for me as well as, Lou Brown, Mr. Walter Doc Hurley, Bernadine Silvers, and all of them, had a different knack for the city. And they're all very instrumental in the city and they've always got the job done. So I had individuals like them to look up to. And, in my work right now, I still try to make all of them proud. I don't want it, to be in vain.
Yeah, I love that. I love that. Definitely looking back in terms of like the legacy that has been laid for you in order to continue on with excellence. I love that. What ties or connections do you have to Hartford, and why is this actual city of Hartford meaningful to you? And bonus points if you can tell us what neighborhoods you've lived in.
So always in the north end of Hartford, always born and raised in the north end of Hartford. And I guess I'm just passionate about it because, being born and raised, I try my best to do what I can to make the city look good where I was born and raised. And not just for me, I have so much family throughout the city of Hartford, rather it's the north end, the south end, the west end, and, friends from all over. So I hope I answered the question correctly.
Absolutely. Absolutely. No
And
right or wrong answer. We just want to hear about your experiences, want to hear about what keeps you here. And Petrel, I know that you had a key role in supporting sort of Black History Month programming throughout the city over the years. Can you say a little bit more about that?
so what happened with Black history is I've always been passionate about Black history. So when I worked under former council president Arjo Winch, she every month she said, I want to do something for Black History Month. What can I do? Let's sit down and talk about it. So what she ended up doing was every month for the month of February in City Hall in the atrium, she would put pictures up of African Americans and put bios um, of the different pictures that she had up. And and it was pretty much like a paragraph to sometimes 3 paragraphs, depending on what the person did for the city of Hartford, while rather working in the city of Hartford or volunteering in the city of Hartford. And so I became very passionate about it. I look forward to, Black History Month because we started, getting the pictures and the bios ready probably like 6 months in advance. I have so many pictures and bios now. Um, if you follow me on Facebook, every year in the month of February, from February 1st to February 28th, I always have up someone for Black History Month. Rather, it's a local Black historian or a national Black historian on my social media page.
I love that. And I think it's great that you even continued that on beyond your support of Council President Arjo when she was in office. I think that that is beautiful. And I would love to see some more about that and hear some more about that in the weeks to come. So, Petrel, you've answered the majority of our questions here. Is
Really?
there, yes, you have. What would you say to other people who are considering joining the City of Hartford, or who are interested in applying to roles in DPW? What bit of advice or what word of wisdom would you leave folks with?
Um, it is important in this job to understand that we are first here to serve the public while creating a meaningful life for ourselves. I will tell anybody quick, I am not a politician. Petrel Maylor, I am a public servant. I'm not a politician, have no aspiration to be a politician. I am a public servant and I try to serve the public well.
Wonderful, wonderful. Anything else that you'd like to add or that I didn't ask you that you'd like to share?
No, I would just like to say, thank you actually for inviting me to do this interview for Black History Month. I am a little nervous, so if you guys go back and look at this recording and you see some things that I said wrong, please forgive me. I apologize. I'm always nervous with not working, with being a public speaker. However, I think the city of Hartford is a wonderful place. Throughout my 20 years, I can honestly say I really enjoyed it. Don't get me wrong, there was some hiccups in the road at some points, but they all smoothed out. But I think this was one of the best decisions I could have ever made, was to leave the corporate world and to come to city government. I've learned so much. I do say I'm not a politician. However, I've learned so much about politics. Um, I have become a better person by working for the city of Hartford. And, I know individuals hold me accountable. So that also holds me to another standard as well. And I'll just continue to do what I'm doing.
Wonderful. Thank you so much, Petrel, Deputy Director of Department of Public Works. We really
Thank
appreciate you
you.
being here. We appreciate you being not just a creator of Black history, but also a preserver of Black history in the city of Hartford. And we appreciate the time that you spent with us here.
Thank you so much. I
Thank you.
appreciate you.